Welcome back to the channel, folks, where we dive into the wild, wonderful world of men transforming into women in all kinds of fascinating ways. If that's your vibe, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Now let's jump right into today's story.
Chapter 3: The Bellhop with the Bombshell Body. Jackie Monroe had only been a woman for 24 hours, and already she was discovering two very important truths. People looked at her differently now. Every single one of those people needed something from her. By 9:00 a.m., she'd been asked if she was the new concierge, the new spa girl, and by one particularly sleazy guest with a comb-over that looked like a small rodent had died on his head if she came with the room. She'd only just resisted the urge to knee him in the caviar. "That would be an extra $500 on your bill, sir," she'd replied with a sugary smile that didn't reach her eyes, plus tax and hazard pay. The man had blinked, confused by her response, before his wife had appeared from the bathroom and dragged him away by his silk tie. Now, navigating the lobby with a cart full of luggage, Jackie found herself the subject of at least a dozen appreciative stares. Men old enough to be her grandfather suddenly developed neck problems, swiveling their heads as she passed. Women sized her up with expressions ranging from envious to suspicious. "Keep it together," she muttered to herself as she wheeled a luggage cart through the Grand Marlowe's gilded lobby. "Smile, sway those hips, don't punch anyone." The cart was piled high with designer suitcases from a tech CEO who'd already mistaken her for a cocktail waitress. Twice. The second time, he'd accidentally brushed his hand against her lower back, and Jackie had visualized approximately 17 ways to rearrange his face, none of which were compatible with continued employment. "Is that Louis Vuitton or Prada?" asked a passing guest, pointing at one of the cases. "It's a suitcase," Jackie replied flatly, before remembering she was supposed to be providing 5-star service. I believe it's the new limited edition Louis Vuitton, ma'am, very exclusive." The woman nodded approvingly and sashayed away. "How the hell am I supposed to tell?" Jackie grumbled to herself. "They all look like overpriced pet carriers to me." Jackie's heels clicked against the marble floor, echoing like a metronome of doom. The pencil skirt she'd chosen hugged her every curve like a scandal. Her blouse was modest enough until she leaned forward. Then it became a diplomatic incident. Walking in heels was still a challenge. Each step required concentrated effort. Her hips wanted to sway naturally with the shifted center of gravity, but overdoing it made her look like she was auditioning for a runway show. Underdoing it made her walk like she had a broomstick taped to her spine. "Why can't women wear comfortable shoes?" she thought bitterly. Who decided torture devices were fashionable? She'd been a man just yesterday, blissfully unaware of how the other half lived. Now, she was intimately acquainted with underwire, shapewear, and the particular hell that was trying to scratch an itch in the middle of your back when your shoulder blades no longer had the range of motion they once did. "Damn it, why does everything ride up, fall down, or pull tight?" she whispered, adjusting her neckline for the 5th time that hour. The silky material of her blouse seemed determined to reveal more cleavage than she was comfortable displaying. "Because," came a voice from behind, smooth as aged whiskey, "that's how they sell it." "Charlie." Jackie turned, caught mid-adjustment, and froze. Charlie stood there in her sharp navy blazer and heels, sipping coffee like it was blood, and she was a very fashionable vampire. Her honey blonde hair was pulled back in its usual severe bun, but a few strands had escaped, softening her face in a way that made her look both more approachable and somehow more intimidating. Her eyes swept Jackie from head to toe, pausing just briefly at the neckline. Jackie felt her cheeks warm. This blushing business was new and infuriating. As Jake, she'd rarely blushed, and when she did, it was barely noticeable. As Jackie, her cheeks practically lit up like traffic signals at the slightest provocation. "Morning," Jackie managed, smoothing her blouse with hands that felt too small and delicate to be her own. Charlie smirked, one perfectly arched eyebrow rising. "You're quite the vision of efficiency." Was that sarcasm? Appreciation? Both. Jackie couldn't tell. Charlie's tone had layers that would take an archaeological expedition to unearth. Jackie gave a wobbly smile. I do what I can mostly while trying not to fall over. She gestured to her heels. These things should come with a warning label. Charlie stepped closer, her perfume a heady mix of citrus and something dangerously warm. Sandalwood, maybe? Whatever it was, it made Jackie's new body respond in ways that were confusing and distracting. Her skin prickled with awareness, and her heart rate picked up. You have a knack for the role, Charlie observed, her amber eyes assessing. You sure you've never worked in hospitality before? Jackie's mouth went dry. Charlie was standing close enough that Jackie could see the flecks of gold in her irises, the perfect application of her subtle makeup, the slight sheen of her lip gloss. As Jake, she'd always found Charlie attractive, but as Jackie, there was something different about the attraction, less straightforward, more complex. Oh, I've handled a lot of guests in my time, Jackie replied, then immediately wanted to slap herself for how suggestive it sounded. Charlie raised an elegant eyebrow. Have you now? Not like that, Jackie blurted, then coughed. I mean professionally, mostly, sometimes. She was digging herself deeper with every word. Charlie chuckled, the sound rich and warm, and for a moment, something in her cool exterior cracked just enough to show warmth underneath. You're an interesting one, Jackie Monroe. Jackie felt a strange flutter in her stomach. I get that a lot. Well, recently, very recently, as in since yesterday. Charlie tilted her head, curiosity evident in her expression. You remind me of someone. Jackie's heart skipped. Oh, anyone I know. Jake Monroe, Charlie said, studying her reaction, our regular bellhop. Your relative, you said. Jackie swallowed hard. Cousin, second cousin, twice removed, on my mother's side. My father's side, one of those sides, definitely related, by blood, or marriage, family trees, am I right? So complicated. Charlie's lips twitched. Indeed. Then a bell dinged. A guest had spilled an entire mimosa on the concierge's desk. The moment passed. Charlie gave Jackie a quick once-over that was almost clinical. You'll need a name tag, and maybe flats. Jackie looked down at her heels, which were already making her feet feel like they were being compressed in a vice. But there was no way she was giving in. Jake Monroe might have opted for comfort, but Jackie Monroe had pride. Jackie smiled sweetly. Flats are for quitters. Charlie laughed actually, laughed a genuine sound that transformed her face and made her look younger, less stressed, and devastatingly beautiful. Then, as quickly as it appeared, the laugh was tucked away, replaced by her professional demeanor. She walked off, clipboard in hand, hips swaying with purpose. Jackie couldn't help but notice how effortlessly Charlie moved in her own heels, like she'd been born wearing them. Jackie exhaled and leaned against the luggage cart. I'm in so much trouble. Not just because Charlie was suspicious, though that was certainly a problem, but because for the first time, Jackie was experiencing attraction from an entirely new perspective. As Jake, she'd admired Charlie from a safe distance, appreciating her beauty and intelligence. As Jackie, she felt drawn to Charlie in a different way, both competitive and complimentary. Great, she muttered. Identity crisis and sexual crisis all in one day. Bellamy really knows how to throw a curveball. Speaking of Mrs. Bellamy, the mysterious woman had been conspicuously absent all morning. Jackie had checked her suite twice, only to find it empty, with no sign of when she might return. Jackie continued her journey to the elevators, trying to focus on walking naturally while maneuvering the heavy cart. Her upper body strength had diminished significantly in the transformation. What used to be effortless now required actual exertion. Everything's different, she thought, lifting a suitcase that would have been easy for Jake but was a genuine challenge for Jackie. My muscles, my bones, even the way my clothes feel against my skin. Her skin was another revelation, softer, more sensitive, responsive to the slightest touch or temperature change. She'd nearly jumped out of her skin when the air conditioning had kicked on earlier, sending a chill across her arms. A pair of businessmen in matching gray suits openly stared as she bent to adjust a listing suitcase, their gazes fixed on her backside. Take a picture, Jackie said without looking up. It'll last longer. They hastily pretended to be engrossed in conversation about quarterly reports. Jackie smirked. It was oddly empowering to call out the behavior she'd occasionally been guilty of as Jake. Not that Jake had ever been so blatant, of course. He'd prided himself on being more respectful. At least, that's what he'd told himself. "Karma's a bitch," she murmured, "and apparently so am I." A few hours later. Room 511 wants extra towels, 714 needs a bottle of Merlot, and someone in 802 keeps ordering adult movies and blaming the remote. Tommy rattled off the list like a caffeinated auctioneer as Jackie tried to balance a tray of wine, a towel cart, and her rapidly declining patience. They were in the service corridor, the hotel's backstage area where the real work happened away from guest eyes. "I swear," she hissed, blowing a strand of hair out of her eyes, "if one more man says you look familiar, I'm going to scream." "Well, you do look familiar," Tommy pointed out unhelpfully. "You look like a hot female version of my best friend." "Not helping, Tommy," Jackie replied, shifting the weight of the tray. Her wrists felt more delicate, less stable. The bottle of Merlot kept threatening to slide into the crystal glasses. How does everyone do this without dropping everything? "Practice, I guess," Tommy said with a shrug. "Or maybe women have better balance because of their," he gestured vaguely at her chest. "Don't even finish that sentence," Jackie warned, though she had to admit there might be some truth to it. Her center of gravity had shifted dramatically. Where Jake had been solid and front-weighted in the shoulders, Jackie was all curves and counterbalance, her weight distributed in a completely different pattern. Tommy grinned, eyes twinkling with mischief. "Don't worry, if your boobs scream first, they'll listen." She threw a towel at his head, which he caught with a laugh. "Seriously, though," he said, lowering his voice, "how's the adjustment going?" Jackie sighed, setting down the wine tray to rest her arms. "It's weird, Tommy, really weird. I keep forgetting I have these," she gestured to her chest, "and then I reach for something and they're suddenly in the way. And don't get me started on the bathroom situation." Tommy winced sympathetically. "That bad?" "Let's just say sitting down to pee is an adjustment, and leave it at that," Jackie replied dryly. "And the other stuff?" Tommy asked, clearly both uncomfortable and curious. Jackie rolled her eyes. "I'm not giving you detailed reports on my vagina, Tommy." "That's not what I meant," he protested, though his blush suggested otherwise. "I meant like emotional stuff, hormones and all that." Jackie considered this. There had been moments throughout the day when emotions had crashed over her like waves, stronger, more immediate, harder to suppress. As Jake, she'd been able to compartmentalize feelings, tuck them away in neat boxes. As Jackie, those boxes seemed to have transparent sides. "It's more intense," she admitted. "Everything is more intense. I nearly cried when I saw a puppy earlier. A puppy, Tommy. And then I wanted to punch the guy in 412 when he accidentally brushed against my ass. The mood swings are giving me whiplash." Tommy nodded sagely, as if he understood, which was impossible given that he'd never experienced spontaneous gender transformation. They turned a corner, just in time to run into a pair of businessmen ogling her like a dessert tray. One actually licked his lips. Jackie smiled tightly. "You boys need directions or just a cold shower?" They blinked, clearly unused to being called out so directly, and moved on, muttering apologies. Tommy whistled, "You've got the sass down." Jackie adjusted her skirt and muttered, "I've got sass in places I didn't have yesterday." "Speaking of which," Tommy said, gesturing to her outfit, "you're rocking that skirt. Where'd you get it?" "Mrs. Bellamy's closet of magical makeovers." "I guess," Jackie replied, having not given much thought to the origin of her wardrobe. The suite had a closet full of clothes that fit perfectly. It's creepy, actually, like she knew exactly what would happen. "Maybe she did," Tommy mused. "Maybe this is all part of some master plan." "What plan could possibly involve turning me into a woman?" Jackie demanded. Tommy shrugged. "I don't know, divine matchmaking, cosmic practical joke, teaching you a lesson about objectification." Jackie scoffed, "I wasn't that bad." Tommy raised an eyebrow. "Remember when you rated the bridesmaids at the Phillips wedding? On a scale with decimal points." Jackie winced. "That was different, that was just guy talk." "And now you're on the receiving end of guy talk," Tommy pointed out. "How's it feel?" Jackie fell quiet, turning the question over in her mind. How did it feel? Uncomfortable, certainly, invasive, sometimes threatening, but also oddly validating in a way she wasn't proud to admit. Complicated, she finally said. Tommy sobered a little. You doing okay? Like really okay? Jackie paused, leaning against the wall. Her body still felt foreign, too curvy, too soft, too responsive. But beneath the unfamiliar exterior, her mind was still hers. Her memories, her sense of humor, her values, those remained unchanged. I don't know, she admitted. Part of me feels like I'm in one of those dreams where you show up to school naked, only now the school is a hotel, and I'm naked under this blouse, and everyone keeps looking at me like I'm the dessert special. Tommy nodded, his usual joking manner momentarily set aside. And the other part? She shrugged, a gesture that felt different with her narrower shoulders and fuller chest. Feels weirdly confident, like I'm still me, but also not. Everything's more intense. The way people react, the way I move, hell, even the way chocolate tastes. It was true. She'd had a piece of chocolate from the staff room earlier, and the experience had been almost obscene. Flavors seemed sharper, more complex. Textures more pronounced. Tommy grinned. Boobs do that. She rolled her eyes. It's not just the boobs. He leaned closer, waggling his eyebrows. But it is a little bit the boobs. She smacked his arm, still surprised by how much less force she generated. Focus. I need to find Mrs. Bellamy and get her to change me back before someone figures out what happened. You mean before Charlie figures it out, Tommy corrected. She already suspects something. I saw her watching you earlier. Jackie felt a flush creep up her neck. She was probably just monitoring the new employee. Uh-huh, Tommy said skeptically. That's why she was staring at your legs for a full minute while you were reaching for that bottle of champagne on the top shelf. Jackie's eyebrows shot up. She was. Tommy smirked. Don't sound so pleased about it. I'm not pleased, Jackie protested. I'm surprised. Charlie's always been so professional. She's professional, not blind, Tommy replied with a shrug. And you, my friend, are a certified bombshell. It'd be weirder if she didn't look. Jackie turned to face a decorative mirror in the corridor, studying her reflection. The woman who stared back was undeniably beautiful, high cheekbones, full lips, thick lashes framing expressive green eyes. Her body had curves in all the right places, proportioned perfectly to her frame. It's so strange, she murmured, touching her face. It's me, but it's not me. You know, Tommy said thoughtfully, you could use this to your advantage. Jackie tore her gaze from the mirror. What do you mean? I mean, you've had a thing for Charlie for 2 years? But Jake was too chicken to make a move. Maybe Jackie is braver. Are you suggesting I seduce my boss while I'm magically gender-swapped? Jackie asked incredulously. Tommy held up his hands. Just saying, it's an opportunity to get to know her better, from a different angle. The angle where I'm lying about who I am? Jackie replied. Yeah, that's a great foundation for a relationship. Just a thought, Tommy said. In the meantime, we've got guests to serve, and you've got a role to play. Speaking of which, he gestured to her blouse, which had come untucked on one side. Jackie sighed and adjusted her outfit. How do women keep everything in place all day? Practice, Tommy said sagely, and double-sided tape, lots of it. Later that evening, the hotel bar was buzzing with convention guests, all loud ties and louder opinions. The annual Tech Futures conference had taken over the hotel, filling it with entrepreneurs, developers, and venture capitalists, most of whom seemed to think their net worth entitled them to extraordinary service. Jackie had been drafted to help at the bar since one of the regular servers had called out sick. This meant navigating the crowded space with trays of drinks while fending off wandering hands and inappropriate comments. Another round for table 7, called Marcus, the bartender, sliding a tray of colorful cocktails across the bar. Jackie picked it up, balancing it carefully. Table 7, the ones who have been arguing about cryptocurrency for the last hour. The very same, Marcus confirmed with a sympathetic grimace. Watch out for the bald one, he's a grabber. Fantastic, Jackie muttered, making her way through the crowd. She just dropped off a tray of martinis when she spotted Charlie sitting alone at the end of the bar, sipping something dark and expensive. She looked tired, the professional mask slipping just enough to reveal the exhaustion underneath. Jackie hesitated, torn between approaching and keeping her distance. Getting close to Charlie felt dangerous, like playing with fire while wearing highly flammable clothing. But then Charlie looked up, caught her eye, and something in her expression shifted. It wasn't quite a smile, but it wasn't her usual cool assessment either. Before she could second-guess herself, Jackie walked over, hips swaying without conscious effort, and slid onto the stool beside her. "Rough day?" she asked, signaling to Marcus for a drink. Charlie sighed, the sound weary and unguarded. "You have no idea." Jackie smiled, accepting the whiskey neat that Marcus placed before her. "Try me." Charlie glanced at her, then took a slow sip of her own drink. Every year, this convention turns the hotel into a zoo. Half the staff call out, the other half forget how to do their jobs, and the guests treat us like vending machines in skirts. There was a raw honesty in her voice that Jackie had never heard before. As Jake, she'd rarely seen this side of Charlie, the human behind the manager, the woman behind the professional facade. Jackie raised her glass, to vending machines in skirts. Charlie clinked it, a hint of amusement warming her amber eyes. To underpaid miracles. They drank. For a moment, the noise of the bar faded, and it was just the two of them. Jackie noticed details she'd never appreciated before, the subtle flecks of gold in Charlie's hair caught in the low light, the faint freckles across the bridge of her nose, expertly concealed but visible up close, the curve of her lips as she sipped her drink. "You've handled yourself well today," Charlie said, breaking the silence. "Most new staff crack under the pressure of convention week." Jackie shrugged, the movement more graceful than she intended. "I'm tougher than I look." "I believe it," Charlie replied, her gaze lingering on Jackie's face. "There's something resilient about you." Jackie felt a rush of pleasure at the compliment. "I've had practice adapting to unexpected situations." "Like suddenly filling in for your cousin?" Charlie asked, one eyebrow raised. Jackie took a sip of whiskey to buy time. "Among other things." Charlie studied her. "You're hard to place, Jackie." Jackie tilted her head, feeling her hair brush softly against her shoulder. "Mysterious." Charlie smirked, unsettlingly familiar. Jackie's heart skipped. "That a bad thing?" "Not necessarily," Charlie replied, turning her glass slowly between her fingers. "You remind me of someone, but different, like seeing a familiar painting from a new angle." Jackie struggled to maintain her composure. "Maybe you just have a type." The words slipped out before she could stop them. As Jake, she'd never have been so bold. Charlie's eyes widened fractionally, then narrowed with interest. "What makes you think you're my type?" Jackie's breath hitched. "The way you look at me when you think I'm not noticing." Charlie's lips curled. "Perceptive." "I notice things," Jackie said, feeling a strange confidence surge through her. "Like how you tuck your hair behind your ear when you're thinking, or how you tap your pen 3 times before signing anything, or how you're always the first one here in the morning and the last to leave at night." Charlie leaned in slightly. "For a temp who's been here one day, you've been paying close attention." Jackie's pulse quickened. "Some people are worth paying attention to." Charlie's voice dropped. "Do you pay attention to me, Jackie?" The question hung in the air like static. Jackie swallowed. "Every time you walk by." A flash of something, surprise, pleasure, intrigue, crossed Charlie's face. "I thought so." Then her phone buzzed. She glanced at it and sighed. "Duty calls. The Hendersons are complaining about the air conditioning again." She stood, smoothing her skirt, and Jackie couldn't help but admire the elegant line of her figure, the confident posture, the way she commanded space without effort. As she walked away, she paused, turned, and said over her shoulder, "By the way, I like your confidence." Jackie, cheeks flushed, watched her go. Then whispered, "That makes one of us." Because beneath the newfound bravado, she was terrified. Terrified of being stuck in this body forever. Terrified of being discovered. And most terrifying of all, terrified that she was starting to enjoy parts of this bizarre situation. She downed the rest of her whiskey in one swallow, the burn in her throat a welcome distraction. "Well," she muttered to herself, "at least the alcohol still works the same." A man in an expensive suit sidled up, taking Charlie's vacated seat. "Can I buy you a drink, beautiful?" Jackie looked him up and down, channeling every ounce of Charlie's cool assessment. "No, but you can buy me silence. That'll cost you leaving immediately." He blinked, clearly unused to rejection, then slunk away. Jackie signaled Marcus for another whiskey. Being a woman was exhausting. Being a woman with Jake's mind was practically Olympic-level emotional gymnastics. And being a woman with Jake's mind who was increasingly attracted to her female boss. That was a complication she hadn't seen coming.